welcome to SCube TV. Today we have with us this beautiful woman, this beautiful, gorgeous woman on our show. She is an Indian classical dancer. Yes, she is Bharatnatyam dancer. Her name is Yogita Kulkarni. Yogita ji, welcome to our show.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. So Yogita ji, I'm feeling so good to have you on our show, and we have a lot of things to discuss. So I have already introduced you to our audiences that you are an Indian classical dancer, you're a Bharatnatyam dancer, and also you're a teacher. So if you yourself can introduce you, or if you yourself can talk about yourself to the audiences, what you do, and also how are you dealing with these times of COVID-19? If you can tell something about that to our audiences.
Yes, COVID-19 it is difficult to be home. I have a daughter
Yeah.
who's 6 years old and she's finding it difficult to be home. But we have online learning. They have assignments. It was going on. Now it is summer vacation, and
Mm-hmm.
also students. I am teaching them online. Thanks to technology, we can do so many things online, and as we are talking now. So there are much more exposures. In fact, this COVID-19 has taught us something to use this technology. I can see so many dance performances, dance programs online. Um, it's
Mm-hmm.
a kind of learning. It's a learning experience.
Yeah,
Although it is
true.
no, it is scary sometimes, but we are doing it. We
We are
are
coping with it. Yeah, we are
doing
still
it.
learning. Yeah,
Yes,
how to go with and how to deal with this situation. Since
right.
we are meant to learn. We are human beings, and since so everyone is
Of
coping with it, and we too are trying to do it the same.
of
Okay.
course.
So yeah, if you can also tell something about yourself. I mean, you're a dancer, you're an Bharatnatyam teacher also, and also what you do and how was your background, your professional background, your personal background. If you can tell something about that to our audiences.
So I'm from Mumbai, suburbs of Mumbai, and at my family there is no background of dance or theater, anything. But when I was small, I was almost 3 years old or something, and my mom had a confidence that I can climb on stage and do something. So I
Mm-hmm.
recited Sanskrit verse when I was three, and that point, the stage fear just went away because it was a very small age. I was not aware, I was not conscious. So from that age, I am constantly performing on stage. When I was 7, I started learning dance, Bharatnatyam from Guru Leena Bhatt. And after that, when I finished my 10th and 12th, I came to know about Nalinda Nritya Kala Mahavidyalaya. That's a college in Mumbai, which has degree courses, BFA and MFA in dance.
Mm-hmm.
So, I did my bachelor's and master's in Bharatnatyam, and I finished it in 2006. And the later journey is next year I got married, then I moved to Bangalore. So that was my background.
Oh, okay. So, we know about you that you have also been a part of theater. You have also done theater. So, how
Yes.
was that experience? I mean, being a dancer is totally different, and acting is completely different with that. Since you are a Bharatnatyam dancer, so you have these good expressions, the knowledge about how to express in the form of dance. But while you act, so you also have these dialogues to speak. So, how was that different, and how was your experience in that field?
So the experience was very good. When I started doing theater, I was very clear that I don't want to act right now. I wanted to learn about technical skills. So the first thing I opted for light design, and two of my dear friends, they taught me. They helped me to learn how to design the lights, how to decide a source, and that kind of helped me in my dance performances. When I started dancing, it was complementary. Both the arts were complementary, theater and dance. because as being a dancer, I was aware of being upright, of your posture, of your gaze, of your sight. And as a theater person, I was aware of other technical things, how to use the stage, how to use the light, how to take, if there is any technical problem, how do you handle it. So both things complemented each other. And I was at the same time I was dancing and in theater, so it was kind of contrast, but it was really enjoyable. I thoroughly enjoyed both the arts.
Oh, great. Because you have the passion for dancing as well as, those expressions. So obviously you must have enjoyed it. Okay. So like you said that you had no background of dancing. I mean, you had no family person who was a dancer or who was into theater or acting. But, you were living in Maharashtra. So somehow you must have that, that connect with acting, because I feel if you are a part of Maharashtra, Mumbai, a part of that, so somewhere deep down you get connected to it. So like you said that you had no family member, no background in dancing and in acting. So was your family supportive of you being a dancer and an actor, or
Yes,
you
of
had to face
course.
challenges?
No, in the beginning, my father was little skeptical about it, but my mom fully supported me. Even my dad, he did everything he can do to support me, because I was living in Mumbai suburbs, and
Okay.
as you know, the shows and all used to be late night, and they have put a lot of efforts to deal with it, the train
Okay.
travel and late night coming and all those things. So
Okay.
they have been very supportive. And after marriage, also my in-laws, my husband, now my daughter, they even though there is nobody in the family, they all are very curious and they love art.
Okay.
So they are very happy when I do something related to this art.
That's
So
beautiful. I mean,
overall, there were no. I would say there were no challenges to deal with. But yes, sometimes you feel that you should give up, or you're not being good with them or something. But with their support, I could go on.
That's good. I mean, family support is everything if you talk about that. So, family support is everything especially if you want to be an artist. So, I think, to every person who's watching this video, if your family member, if your kids or any of your family member, if they wants to be in this, if they want to become an artist, um, I mean, despite of whatever art it is, whatever art medium or art form it is, so we should be supportive of that, because
Yes.
I think yeah, because I think if you if you think about other jobs and other fields, so it is slightly, I mean, I'm not belittling anything. I mean, I'm not saying that anything is less difficult or less challengeable, but I think being an artist, somewhere, we have that insecurity too. So did you also have that insecurity in you?
Yes, definitely. Because people around me were constantly asking me, nobody was aware of this degree. Like, there is some professional training in dance. So they used to constantly ask me if you're doing something, if you are doing your career, if you are aware of your career. And that used to be sometimes discouraging, that, you know, nobody's supporting you. But at that time, if your family supports you, that the confidence is different, that
Yeah.
you are secured and there is somebody to back you up when you are in the difficult times, because every art training has a strenuous training. So sometimes it happens that you feel that you should give up, and why did you choose it? But if that time you feel that there is somebody supporting you, that support is tremendous to go on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is
Yeah.
very
Also, yeah, very much important. Yeah, true. I mean, also just being an artist, I feel this thing, you also have this thing in your mind. I mean, not being satisfied of what you do. You want to do something, like you are a dancer, so you must have come across this feeling that you are not being satisfied of what you are getting.
right.
You also come across these feelings. So I hope you're understanding what I'm trying to ask. You
Yeah.
come across these feelings that this is not satisfying me, that work is not satisfying me, this is a very small project, I want to work in a big project. So we have those kind of insecurities and those kind of dilemmas in our head, in our mind. So how would you say, I mean, how should a person or an artist deal with that feeling?
The first thing is conviction. Be convicted to what you do. What you're doing is the best. Art is always a best healing power. It has
True.
always been proved that art has healing powers. So whenever you're feeling low, whenever you're feeling depressed, just get involved with your art, whichever art, like do it, may it be performing art or the fine art. So I've seen my family. My husband is also an artist. So
Oh.
in his difficult times, yes, he's from JJ School of Arts. So in the difficult times, for both of us, art has supported, undoubtedly. It has proved that. So I would say conviction is most important. If you're feeling like giving up, just go and look back at your art. And although the small projects, big projects, if you're getting money or no, these things don't matter if you are totally involved and totally dedicated to your art. Because artist, in Sanskrit, when we learned Natya Shastra, there was a saying that your body is a vehicle for
Okay.
your art. So through your body, you are expressing, or you are conveying something. So for any art, you are the vehicle. You are carrying that art towards people. So for the art is different. You are just an instrument. So
Mm-hmm.
that takes. If you are convicted to your art, you will not give up at all.
Okay, so you are saying conviction is the utmost thing.
Yes.
Okay, okay. And also, I think we every artist should have in their mind, whether you are getting a small project or a big project, whatever is happening for a reason and happening for good.
Yes, definitely. And if you have put 100% effort, definitely you will get something out of it. That
Mm-hmm.
is either you will get the pure bliss, that as we
Yeah.
say, or happiness. That is more important. So these other things don't matter when you are a true artist.
When you're two artists, true, true. Okay. So I've also come across this thing, that you have also been a dance therapist, and are you currently also a dance therapist, or I mean, you
No.
were a dance therapist?
When I was in Bangalore, I worked at Amar Saundarya School for
Okay.
a year, and I worked for specially gifted children who are have autism or other things.
Okay.
So I have seen tremendous results and improvements when I
Mm-hmm.
started teaching them. And I didn't have much experience in that, although I have learned when I was in college. I was in dance college.
Mm-hmm.
We had a topic of dance therapy, and we used to go to a dance therapist in Mumbai and see how they work. So I have seen improvements in them. They have very beautiful capacities of expression. They are so loving and kind. If you just have to uh, do small thing, and they will do show a lot of improvement. Like it is as if you are taking out flowers petals, the blooming
Mhm.
of flower. So you just have to blow in the flower and it starts blooming. It is
Okay.
so, but people get terrified when they see or hear about them, and people are less supportive to these kids. And I was very happy to put a dance performance for them. Like I involved all of them in the dance
Yeah.
performance. I was very happy to see the happiness on their parents' faces, because they never imagined that their children could go on the stage and perform for like whichever minutes, how much ever time it was.
Hmm.
So they had never imagined that the kids could do that, but it was possible with the dance therapy.
Great. So would you say that every dancer, despite of being, whatever, whichever dance form he is in, whether it is an Indian classical or hip hop or whatever dance form he or she learns. So would you say that a dance therapy is a must for every dancer?
Yes, any dance can help, not just with these kids, the
Uh-huh.
people who are in depression, people who are suffering from other illnesses,
Okay.
people who are impaired. For those also, it helps a lot. It helps a
Okay.
lot. People who are who cannot see, who cannot hear, they
Hmm.
also have. If you teach them dance, you can see the body orientation, because these people have poor body orientation. You can see improvements in other their postures, their physical skills. So
Yeah.
in all, it helps everyone.
Okay.
So
And how? And how?
doesn't matter. It's just the dance. It's the physical activity and dance which you are enjoying.
Okay. So how does it help? The people who are in depression, especially. How does it help to? I mean, to those
When
people.
you when you dance, you get this your hormones. They the happiness hormone secrets. This I have learned, and I have experienced this. I was teaching in my class, and a boy. So my dance class used to start with jumps, with high
Okay.
jump, and
Okay.
um, uh, the boy was, I think, 6 or 7 years old, and
Uh-huh.
he asked me, "Ma'am, do you know, when I dance, I feel like laughing a lot. I
Oh,
feel
okay.
like smiling a lot." And then I realized that yes, this has a healing power. The boy who was not talking at all for 2 months, if he
Mm-hmm.
can come and tell me that this art is helping me so much, then I believed it, that it can help anyone in the world to deal with
Yeah.
any kind of problem.
True. True. And also, when anyone dances, so there is this happiness comes from within. So I
Yes.
think, yeah. So yeah. Okay. So moving on to my next question. So how's your lifestyle in US? I mean, you actually told me, I think before interview only. I mean, before we started this program, you told me that you moved to US in 2011. So, I mean, it's been 9 years for you in US. So, how has your lifestyle been there, and
Uh,
how is it different from India?
yes, it is different from India. Yesterday, my daughter was talking to me, and she was telling me, in India, she hadn't seen so many people around here, and when we went to India, she was terrified to see so many people at a function, and it was shocking for her. And for me, it's the other way, because I came from India to US. It's
Yeah.
another shock that I was seeing around so many people, the feeling of security, the feeling of support. So here, for some time, I felt all alone.
Uh-huh.
And at that time, I realized that yes, I have my art with me, and it is lifelong. Like whenever I'll be lonely, my art is going to help me. So when I moved here from Bangalore, I already had a course going on for my students, which was advanced course. So after coming here, I
Yeah.
continued with it. I used to give them assignments. I used to send them notes and everything. So after coming here, I started looking for work. I worked in a community center, city community center for
Mm-hmm.
kids who have not even heard about this art. So I worked for them. Then I worked in Stanford University. Stanford University's students group.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a year-long workshop for them. Those dancers were already trained, and they wanted to put a show. So
Okay.
I gave an idea that you can choreograph on your own with along with the musicians. So nobody had
Mm-hmm.
that experience. How to work with musicians, how to choreograph on your own. So I choreographed a dance drama. I took a reference of Marathi poem, and we put together a show about planets.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, all other planets trying to impress the Earth. That was the theme.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So all of us together we choreographed it, and
Uh-huh.
that was something different from India. Like the universities, the education system, I was introduced to those things, and also when you come from India, you are representing your art.
Yeah.
So I had to be very clear and thorough with my art. And in India, you take it for granted because everyone knows about it.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
here, I had to add minute details about my dance form.
Because
So
somehow I think people also start to judge you. You on, and also your country on the basis of you, since you're representing your country and your culture. So
yeah,
yes. Yeah.
yes. And also in India, if you say Bharatnatyam is from South India, Bharatnatyam is from Tamil Nadu, everyone knows which state it is. And some terms, some Sanskrit words, everyone knows them. So you easily use Sanskrit words. So when I was working here, I had to find English words for them, the concepts, philosophy. So
Okay.
recently I took a workshop in California State University, East Bay. So there I experienced students who have not at all even heard about Indian.
Mm-hmm. So was it difficult?
It was not, I would say it was different because I had to be very firm and clear on what I'm saying, how am I explaining, because the concept of God, the philosophy, uh, you're dancing for God, those concepts were very strange for them.
Okay.
So I had to explain how the temples started growing in India, how the art came in temples, then it moved to
Mm-hmm.
king temples. So I had to, and even the deep philosophies, you cannot explain them because it's too difficult. So I had to keep the lightness of explanation. At the same time, I had to be clear that they have understood the concept.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I also have to ask you about Bharatnatyam. So before asking you about Bharatnatyam, I just want to, I mean, I cannot stop myself from asking you this question. While I'm talking to you, so you have this calmness in your face. You have this very lightness in your face, and very calmness in your face, and you talk with a poiseness, in a very poised manner. And you actually, I'm sitting here, and you are actually, I'm interviewing you from India, and you're there in US, but still I can sense that the sense of positivity in you,
Yes.
somehow. So if you can tell something about that, how are you so calm, so composed, and also such beautiful dancer at the same time?
The thing
Yeah,
is, I from my childhood, I have been a reader. As you can see the
yeah,
books.
I can see the books. Yeah. Yeah.
So the reading gives you a confidence about your knowledge. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Many people say that reading gives you knowledge. It is not that. If it's not just knowledge. If you keep on with the reading, you get a confidence about that knowledge, that you know this, and that passion of going deeper in it's almost an ocean. So you can go as deep as you want to, and that gives you that as you say, what poise and calmness. Because from my childhood, I have never experienced that stage fear or public speaking fear or
Okay.
kind of insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell my students that's one of the teaching skills, the secret teaching skill, that when you perform uh, on your eye level, imagine a person whom you are very much secure with. May it be your parent or teacher or whoever it is. Forget about all the audience and just concentrate on that person. And
Oh, beautiful.
you are not going to feel insecure at all on the stage.
I mean, so that's such a beautiful thought. I mean, I think we should work upon it. Yeah. So everyone who's listening, so you better think of that one particular person who you're comfortable with, whenever you're performing or whatever that you're doing. So you won't have that insecurity in you. Okay. So yeah. I actually came across this quote today only, while I was scrolling through my phone. So I came across this quote that what exercise is to body, reading is exactly the same is to mind.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think you have summed it up beautifully. So moving on to my next question. So if you can tell something about Bharatnatyam, how did it start? When did it start? And also, how has it changed over the period of years? What
Right.
change has it got? Yeah.
Right. So Bharatanatyam basically started in temples. Um, the temples had dancers who used to dance for the god, and it was Dasiyattam, and whom we used to call Devadasis. That means the slave of God. So they used to dance for the god. Later on, it moved to a king's court, and the god was replaced by the kings. And later, after the kings, it went to common people who were not quite aware, but they were aware of the expression, they were aware of the stories and mythological stories and all. And now it has changed in these like 50 years. It has changed tremendously. Like people are more aware. There are experiments in costume, in lights, in music, in themes. Um,
Uh-huh.
People are exploring other stories than mythology. I myself, I have explored Sanskrit dramas. It was my favorite subject when I was in college. So
Okay.
I've choreographed Sanskrit poems like Meghadutam and Koravanji Natakam, and
Mm-hmm.
I worked in Bangalore. I have explored Kannada compositions or Telugu compositions,
Mm-hmm.
um, Annamacharya's compositions. Um,
Oh, okay.
yes, so I have done that. Then there was an experiment. Me and my husband, we presented a paper in National Institute of Design, and we
Okay.
compared Devanagari script and Bharatnatyam. And at that time, we came to know that the syllables, the words or the sounds, have come from Nataraja's first dance,
Shiva.
Shiva's. Shiva Nataraja's first dance, the syllables came also the script, like the Sanskrit script, the alphabets have
Mm-hmm.
originated from that dance.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So we did a lot of research and it was quite fun doing it together.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, everything has I think the first thing human beings started was communicating through body when there was no spoken language. So it's primitive art. Uh, like later on, it took shape in different art forms, and the purpose of the art changed. But for all of us, it's primitive. People, like, even though a kid cannot speak, that child expresses through movements. So
Mm-hmm.
I think there the first dance starts, and later on somehow it vanishes in our life. It just goes away. So if we bring
Mm-hmm.
it back, you will never experience any problems, or, like, you will not feel low anytime, or you cannot give up in your life.
That is a beautiful way to look upon it. Yeah. I mean, that's such a beautiful way to look upon it. Okay. So, is the quality and value of dance in Bharatanatyam, I mean, the quality and value of it, has it changed? And has it changed for good? I mean, the changes that you see, from the past generation to this generation, and it is changing for the future generation too. So, is the change for good, and the quality and the value, is it the same?
um, it is it has changed a bit, and
Mm-hmm.
nowadays I can see that girls, I mean the dancers, whoever are learning, they are quite aware of other things. They are curious to learn, and the quality, more than quality, I would say the way of looking at it has changed. So, at if you can relate, you and me, like our parents' age, when they
Mm-hmm.
were our age, there was no
Yeah.
much support for this art.
Yeah.
Now people are more aware. People have
Mm.
started to see. Um, Somehow, I would say there are more experiments. People are getting confident to do to explore other arts. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
though I'm a Bharatanatyam dancer, I have seen other dance styles. I have explored. I have learned some basic footsteps of martial arts, other classical dance styles. So I would say it is changing for good. Uh,
It's changing for good. Okay.
it's up to you how you look at it. If you want to be in the past and expect that the same thing should go on, then
Yeah.
I think you should uh, go with time. You
Also,
should,
change is important. Change
yes,
is important. Yeah.
it is important, and
Okay.
you should be positive about it, because
Okay.
that art will be carried with through this generation. The next generation carries the art forward.
Yeah.
So if you
True.
have confidence in that generation, definitely you will enjoy it. They are
Beautiful.
the
Beautiful.
source of energy for everyone.
Yeah. True. Okay. So we also have this video of you dancing, performing. The Bharatanatyam dance. So we actually would like to show that to our audiences and show a small glimpse of you performing on the stage, so that they can see how beautiful of a dancer you are and you have been. So yeah, guys, please have a look on this beautiful video. Yeah.
So this dance was based on the sculpture coming into life.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first thing when it started, there was a breathing in that sculpture,
Okay. Uh-huh.
the Lord Ganesha's sculpture, and then
Okay.
it came into life, and then the story develops that the Lord Ganesha, he's a child, and he wants to go with his friends to play, and
Mm-hmm.
mother, like goddess Parvati, says you should get ready, and as you know, every child has. So she bribes him with the famous Modak laddu that I will give you,
His favorite.
and yeah, so you have to get ready if you want that. So,
Oh, okay.
so that was a story put in the
Uh-huh.
song. So
Oh,
it's
it's
choreographed
beautiful.
by me for a program.
Oh, okay. So you have also choreographed this performance.
Yes, yes.
Ah, nice. Okay. All right. So while the video will also be playing, so I also would like to talk more about the dance and this the art. So my next question to you is, what kind of discipline does it take to be a good dancer? I mean, everybody wants now. Not everybody, but most of the people wants to be a dancer, but not everybody becomes that kind of dancer. With that essence, who have the actual essence. They perform, they dance, but very few people have that quality and that essence of being a good dancer. So to you, I would like to ask, what would you say? I mean, what kind of discipline does it take to become a good dancer, a beautiful dancer?
So, according to me, dance itself is a discipline.
Oh.
I attended this folk dance workshop with Guru Ramesh Pura. So he used to
Uh-huh.
say, this is not a dance workshop, it is dance discipline workshop.
Okay.
He used to say, I will not teach you how to dance. I will teach you how to incorporate it into your life.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be a habit. So work
Okay.
it so much that it becomes
Mm-hmm.
a habit. And once it is your habit, Um, you cannot go below a certain level.
Yeah.
So, as my mentors used to say, I am very thankful to Nalanda Nritya Kala Mahavidyalaya for this, my dance
Mm-hmm.
college, my teachers. They have worked on us, all the students, so much that uh,
Mm-hmm.
our teachers used to say, if you put hard work, if you're working hard, if you're putting 100% of your efforts, you will not go below a certain level. You will always perform to some extent. Even if you take a break, if there are any, this should not happen to anyone, but if it happens, if there is some injury, if you are going through something, if after a break also you start doing it, we had a training of yoga in college. So side by side, everyone was practicing yoga, and it just relaxes your mind. So spiritually, it helps you. So I would say make it a habit as you take a bath, as you do your daily
Brush
chores.
your teeth.
Of course, make it that way,
Okay.
and it will give you results in your life,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. And as I said, conviction, hard work, and 100% effort. That's all it takes. Uh,
Mm-hmm. True.
wherever you are in the world, just be with your art.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great teaching, and that's a great learning. Also, yeah. So my next question to you would be: is being an Indian classical dancer in India different from being an Indian classical dancer in US, or is it the same?
It is different. It
Uh huh.
is different in some levels. In
Yeah.
India, as I said, you are secure. You have your fellow teachers. You have your friends around for any help.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I experienced that in also in Bangalore, also in US. So when we were performing Meghadutam in Bangalore, there was a question if we would do it in Kannada, if we would do it in Sanskrit, and how will people understand?
Mm-hmm.
So there it was easier because it was Indian language, so people knew concepts, and they could relate with the
Yeah.
expressions, the scene going on. When I choreographed Navagraha, the planets, here with Stanford University, it was quite different. The students were aware because they were from Indian families, but the audience was not quite aware of all these concepts. So, teaching and performing that was a little challenging, and I
Okay.
would be different because to introduce them to the dance style, then take them to the through the story you are putting on. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Also, the approach toward dance. In
Okay.
India, you know that kids are like from the beginning, kids are seeing their friends learning this. Now,
They're
here in
aware of the culture.
they are aware of the culture. Here in the US, even my daughter, she's not quite aware. She sees me practicing. She wants to do. She wants to dance with me, but she's not totally aware of that culture.
True.
So even she, while dealing with her, I have to, introduce her slowly, take her through the journey. So it's like that.
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah, we totally understand. I mean, living in India, we from in the morning, from waking up to going bed in the night, we have that kind of surrounding. We have that kind of people. The language, be it the language, be it the food, be it the kind of surroundings or environment that we live in. So it is. I mean, somehow and somewhere it is completely. I mean, culture driven, but Western culture is completely different. So for some people, it would be a culture shock.
Yes.
But so we
Yes.
totally understand what you are saying.
Yes.
So, okay,
Even the university, when I was taking workshops, I was experiencing this. Like
yeah.
even the daily habits of standing, sitting, listening, going, paying attention through the lecture. So it was
Mm-hmm.
quite different. The people are
True.
more frank, more free here. They are not afraid of asking questions, and of course, nobody should be. I tell this to my students that
Mm-hmm.
my favorite student will be the one who asks so too many questions,
Oh, okay.
because that shows that you are thinking about
The
it. You are
interest, the
working on it.
interest. Yeah. True. Even living in India, we have so many cultures, we have this diversity in our country. So, if the North Indian people goes to South, so that has a big cultural difference. And
Yes.
if South Indian people comes to North India, so they see this completely different culture. So, that I mean, we see this much difference in our country. So, living in US, we completely understand what you're trying to tell. And also, the students, especially living in US, they must definitely have this thing difficulty to understand. How is this? How is Bharatnatyam? How is it an offering to God? How is this dance from an offering to God?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I have to take the lightness. I have to bring the lightness of the concepts to them. That instead of, as I said, instead of imagining God in front of you, imagine a person whom you are very much secure with,
Attached to.
attached to, or you can relate with.
Yeah.
Dance for that person, and you will have the same expression, because
True.
uh, the main intention to dance in front of God was the same.
Mm-hmm.
So
The
if you,
attachment, the love, the comfortness. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, I actually also would like to know this thing. I would also like to ask you this thing, that what is it that today's youth needs to know about being a dancer, and secondly, being an Indian classical dancer.
so first of all, I would say everyone should keep in mind that every art, uh, for to master that art or to gain that the knowledge of that art, you need hard work.
Okay.
You need to put efforts. It is not easy. No art is easy, and you should be ready to put it. Also, I can see in today's generation the rush to perform on stage. Like,
To be better than others.
yes, and also the parents, like within 6 months, they expect their kids to be on stage.
Yeah.
So it is not that easy. It is not that easy. It takes a level of efforts to go through.
Yeah.
And I would say, even for parents, I would say, don't rush your kid. Learn their interests. Try to learn from them. Try to talk to them. And if they are interested, then start in training. Also, very early training. When the kids are 4 years old, 4.5, they want their kids to learn classical art.
Yeah.
Classical art needs strength. Indian classical art needs strength.
True.
I strictly tell that I will not take a student who is not 6 years old yet,
Okay.
because the kid should follow the commands. It that should be able to what you say, be with the stamina, or the bones should be ready to take so much effort, the movement.
Yeah, because the postures Indian classical dance have. I mean, that needs strength. Yeah, true.
So don't rush to put them. Let them enjoy their childhood. Don't put pressure, because if the kid is pressurized, you cannot enjoy that art. And it is very important to enjoy these
Yeah,
arts.
yeah,
Also, make them aware of other art forms, other music, other dances.
yeah.
So before my daughter could decide on anything, I used to show her all the videos of all other dances. So we used to watch it together. And
Mm-hmm.
I used to tell her, whatever you want to learn from this, even when she wanted to learn music, I showed her
Mm-hmm.
all the instruments
Mm-hmm.
that, you
Okay.
can choose from
Choose.
these things. First, listen to everything and then decide. Take your time. And once you decide, be with it. Then,
You find your happiness.
yes, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. So we actually have just, I think, 8 to 10 minutes left. So my other question to you would be, I mean, I was about to ask you this thing that before going on to stage while performing, so we have this thing, this nervousness, excitement. We have so many things going in our mind. So what should a performer think before performing or before going to the stage when they have this kind of excitement and this kind of nervousness? So what would you suggest to them?
So, if people are watching who have done Bharatnatyam, we always start our class or performance. It is commenced with one Sanskrit shloka, that is
Okay.
Angikam Bhuvanam Yasya Vachikam Sarva Vangmayam Aharyam
Uh-huh.
Chandra Taradi Tam Numaha Satvikam Shivam. So these are four aspects of dance. The first one is Angika, that means body movements. So
Okay.
it says that Angikam Bhuvanam Yasya, that means whose body is the whole universe. Vachikam Sarva Vangmayam, that means whose speech is the whole literature in the universe. Aharyam Chandra Taradi, that means whose ornaments are sun and moon.
Wow.
So, and Satvika is the purity. So we use this word very frequently as Sattva. Sattva is when you wash a grain, and the last thing, the cream of that grain is Sattva. So as if you boil a milk and the cream, the pure cream that is Sattva. So it has all the qualities of that uh, food. That way, the Sattva in dance is the purity. So that purity is Lord Shiva. So my approach towards this shloka is, uh, although it is devotion, it is all to Lord Shiva, the prayer to Lord Shiva. My point is, it is to check before going on the stage whether you know your body movements well, you know your music well, and you have all the things in your costume and ornaments.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to tell the students, although it is a prayer, just check with everything and leave that purity to the God. He will definitely help you.
Mm-hmm.
Once you have all these three things, Angika, Vachika, and Aharya, like you know your body movements, you know all the steps, you know the music, what is coming next, and if you have checked whether you have all the things in your costume and ornaments, and then the purity comes out when you go on stage.
Okay, I mean, it is like just perform your karma and leave everything to God.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, yeah, Beautiful. Okay. So, my one last question to you would be, I mean, I can see a lot many books, behind you. So, I mean, and you also have told that you are a reader yourself. So a person who wants to be an artist, whether it is a dance, I mean, if especially about dance and especially about Indian classical dance and Bharatanatyam, and if someone, like you said, that you have also done theater, and you have also done plays, so which books would you suggest to the younger generation to read if
If
they want to become a dancer, and second, an actor?
yeah, if you are Indian classical dancer, go for Natya Shastra. That
Okay.
is the guide for all the theater arts. Not just dance, not just theater. It has everything. I mean, I have referred it for the theater. It has all the aspects of set. It has verses about choreography.
Mm-hmm.
Like we used to have an assignment in college to choreograph a dance drama, 20 minutes
Mm-hmm.
dance drama, and write a script. And it has rules and regulations for a structured choreography, and it really works. Like from which side of the stage the king will enter or the main character will enter, where will be the other characters, what should be the theme, the
Mm-hmm.
plot, how will the plot develop, how will the characters develop. It has all those things. Also in dance, the author is Bharata's Natya Shastra, and it is scripture, like Sanskrit scripture. So it has all the body movements. It has about all the characters, like how will the king king's level of character walk or talk or sit. It has those minute things,
Details. Okay.
details about it. Also in Abhinay Darpana, there are, Bharatanatyam uses a lot of hastas and mudras.
Mm-hmm.
There is for every hasta, there are multiple uses. So suppose this is one hasta. This
Mm-hmm.
one, this one mudra has around 20 to 24 uses. You can use
Okay.
in so many things, in so many concepts to show so many things.
Mm-hmm.
So learn about that. Not just movements or items. Learn about choreography. Read about choreography. Read about other dancers. And Sanskrit, you would say dance has been described in so many other Sanskrit verses, Sanskrit scriptures. Like I have Sangeet Ratnakar, which was
Mm-hmm.
written by Sharanudeva. It is the scripture about music. The whole thing is about music, but it has two chapters about dance.
Okay.
So, in ancient times, in the Sanskrit dramaturgy, dance was a part of drama, and later it established as a separate art.
Okay.
So, learn about Sanskrit plays. There are beautiful concepts in Sanskrit plays.
Okay.
So, go to your roots, I would say, before
Okay.
going to jumping towards the westerners and jumping towards the western literature. First learn about your roots.
True.
There is so much literature in Indian languages, in Sanskrit or every other regional language. There is
Mm-hmm.
more literature to explore.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay. So also a small message to whoever is watching and who wants to make a career in dance. A small message to them.
I would say learn your interest, decide your interest, and work on that. There are so many other aspects in dance, not just performing, but there is teaching, there is music, there is keeping a rhythm, there is stage design. there are so many things. There is writing. There are not much writers nowadays in dance who write about dance or who.
Mm-hmm.
So you learn about your interest. Just because everyone else is performing, do not run to learn the performances. You can learn how to choreograph. You can learn how to teach. You can learn how to be with the musicians. So
Okay.
explore,
Learn.
right?
Yeah. Learn and explore. Okay. And learn every bit of detail about dance
Yeah.
or about the career that you want to be in.
Yes, definitely.
Great. Beautiful. It was lovely talking to you, Yogita ji. It was so nice to have you on our show. It was so, I mean, you shared such beautiful knowledge about dance, about your life, about the difficulties, how should we overcome it. So it was so nice talking to you. It was lovely having you on our show. Thank you so much for being on SCube TV.
Thank you so much for inviting me and having me. Thank you so much. It was a
Thank
great
you.
experience.
Yeah,
Thank you.
likewise, likewise. Thank you so much.
Thank
Okay,
you.
guys, keep on watching SCube TV.